Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds. It's Clue!
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone, it's Clue!
It's Clue. My name is Clue.
My name is Clue.
And we just watched
Clue! Cluedo!
You love Clue.
Yeah, you all love Clue. You sons of bitches.
Every person in this room has the perfect motive.
Stand back!
For murder.
What do you mean? Murder.
But only one of these suspects is the murderer.
Yeah, it's Clue. It's just, I don't know what to... All right, episode over.
Yeah, that's it. Period. Yeah. We're done.
Listen, I want to start by thanking our Patreon supporter, our producer, the one who chose this movie, Vincent. Thank you, Vincent, with a Y.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for asking us to watch Clue, a movie I have seen my entire life.
Yes, I don't remember watching this movie for the first time.
Yeah, this movie is like a utility.
Yeah.
Like it's just something that exists. Yeah. It's always available. From the director of Nuns on the Run, most famously, you know?
Yeah.
And others.
Yeah, I always mistakenly think it's directed by John Landis because he wrote it.
Yes, he did.
But it's not. It's directed by the director of Nuns on the Run and the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
Also my cousin Vinny. Jonathan Lynn is the director's name.
Yes, which sounds like Jonathan Landis.
It's true. That's true.
One thing, I feel like I knew this, and then I always forget it. I'm always surprised every time to realize this is produced by Deborah Hill.
Yeah.
Who produced Halloween and a bunch of other things that we love.
Yeah, she's
wonderful.
Yeah, long time John Carpenter's partner, production partner on a lot of like the classic John Carpenter films. And yeah, she had a very long, distinguished career. And yes, yeah. I when I watched it, I don't think I remembered that at all. So watching it this time, when I saw her name pop up on screen, I was like, oh shit! All right,
yeah, good for Deborah Hill.
Let's go!
Yeah. We got a movie.
Yeah, we got a fucking movie now.
Yeah. So so I guess the question is, how does one think about Clue from like a critical standpoint?
I don't know.
Because again, it is, I mean, you like Clue, right?
Yeah, I love Clue.
Yeah, me too. It's just, again, it's a utility. I remember seeing it on TV all the fucking time.
They played it on Comedy Central in like the 90s, I think.
Just on like a
forever.
Loop.
Yeah, it was just always on.
I literally watching it, I was like, that's where the commercial break goes. And that's where the commercial break goes. And there's the next commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just remember it so well as like something on TV. And it's not much different. Like, it wasn't like heavily censored for TV. So watching it, like,
no,
I just realized I've mostly watched it on TV. Is I guess what I'm saying?
We had a VHS copy of it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's PG, so it's not. They don't have to cut much out.
Yeah, that's
TV.
what I mean. Is like whenever I watch it not on TV, it just seems like the same movie.
Pretty much.
There's no like big difference. It's I guess. Like where do we start? I guess we could talk about it as an adaptation. No one thinks about it as an adaptation.
This is... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just having watched it this time. I started thinking about it as an adaptation,
mm-hmm.
And it's very faithful.
It is. Interesting. It's kind of like... Obviously, it predates the Lego movie by like 2.5 decades. So, but it's the same idea where as long as you get good people making the adaptation, you can turn just about anything into a movie. Like on paper, a Clue movie sounds terrible, probably.
I disagree.
That's true. It has more of a story than, and like it sounds it's better than Monopoly because like at least Clue has a premise. It's a murder mystery. It's a bunch of people locked in a mansion. One of them is the killer. So it already is that. So yeah, you're actually true. I have to concede that point. There is like a premise built into Clue, the board game.
Yeah, it's like an improv game. Like you start with this broad premise and then you can do a lot with it. That's why it's funny how like I noticed this time when when Tim Curry like has the envelope that says don't open until after dinner. It looks like the Clue envelope that you get in the game. Yeah, stuff like that when I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Big manila envelope. Yeah, and all the weapons that Leaving has wrapped up in a briefcase.
Leaving.
Fucking
we'll
Leaving.
talk about Leaving.
Leaving and gleaming white spats.
He is the weirdest choice.
He is. I mean, he's playing a scumbag real well.
Right, but it's okay. So depending on the ending, he's either a butler or he's like a rich fancy man, and Leaving does not seem like either. He also is extremely patriotic, where he's like he thought that everything what you're doing was un-American, and I'm like, really? Leaving thought that, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting casting. I mean, this is around like I think Streets of Fire was like maybe 2 years before this. This is 85 when this came out. So this is when like people were trying to stick Leaving into movies.
Yeah, for context for people who don't know, Leaving is like Kmart Henry Rollins. He was the lead singer of Fear, a band I quite like. Most of their songs are just about like getting drunk, and other things. They're whatever. You either like them or they don't.
He's like a gutter punk.
They're the only band to be kicked off of SNL.
Yes.
Because I think John Belushi insisted on having them on.
Yeah.
And they like play them off. Like they play like 1.5 songs. And then the lights just fade.
Yeah, it was a real John Belushi move having them come in. But anyways, that's where Leaving is coming from.
Yeah, there was a rumor that the director just liked his name and that's why he cast him, which I don't think that's true. It was probably like it was probably a joke he made in an interview because the name sounds like Leaving.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, people must have known him. Like, he got on Saturday Night Live. He was in like that circle. He'd been in movies before this. So, people knew who he was in Hollywood at the time. So yeah, it's weird that he's in this movie, but it's not like completely out of nowhere because he was in movies.
Yes, it's just weird to imagine him on this set.
Yeah,
with these actors.
I reject that. Even though the third ending is the one like on home video that they say this is the correct ending, and that's the one where like Leaving Mr. Body was actually the butler. Like I don't know, he was not a butler.
No, he wasn't. But again, he's also not like this rich, patriotic, fancy man. Like I can't imagine that either.
He could have been wealthy and like super anti-communist because the movie takes place in 1954.
Right.
So
he plays it like a gangster, like a thug.
Yeah, he plays like a scumbag. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, I guess scumbags can be rich too.
Yeah. They frequently are. I mean, not scumbags aren't frequently rich. Rich people are frequently scumbags, I think is what I meant. Anyway.
Right. So the original lore of the game, it's called the Body Mansion. I was looking at the original, like I found on eBay the original vintage rule book.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't even mention the Body Mansion there. It's the later ones call it the Body Mansion. It's been updated now where like Professor Plum is like a tech bro. It's a real bummer.
I mean, they've reinvented it like every decade, pretty much. They kind of quote unquote update it to fit the times.
Right. But all they had was from the rule book, the scene opens in Mr. Body's mansion. He's the victim. They found him in one of the rooms. And then the object of the game is who, where, and how, which is funny because in the movie they say pretty quickly. One of them says like, we're trying to find out who killed him and where and with what. And so again, they're doing it. They're doing the damn game.
They're doing the fucking game.
Yeah, I would also argue the multiple endings is a good adaptation because it's about the fact that in the game it's interchangeable. That's the point of the game.
It's modular.
Yeah. And so that's what they're pointing out is like the game, it could be anybody. It's a shuffle of the cards.
Mm-hmm. And if you aren't aware, and you might not be, because this is an older movie, when this movie was in theaters, there's 3 different endings that you see when you watch on TV or when you watch a video. They show you all 3. But depending on where you saw it, it would only play with one of the endings, and it was kind of a crapshoot which one you'd get. Sort of like if you recall the blockbuster motion picture X-Men Origins Wolverine, they had 3 different end credit sequences, and they would just shuffle up which one you got depending on where you saw the movie. So some people got Danny Houston walking down the street, some people got Ryan Reynolds reattaching his head. It just depended on where you were. So This movie had 3 different endings. So somebody in one of your friends could be like, "Oh, talking to you about the movie, and be like, oh, that was crazy. I didn't think it was going to be Miss Scarlet." And then somebody else would be, "What are you talking about? It was Miss Peacock."
Right. And there's no internet, so at the time they're just fucking with people. You can now on the DVD, or I guess Blu-ray, as the kids do all the Blu-rays, right?
The Blu-raymans.
Yeah. You can choose it to shuffle the ending, so you only get one.
That's pretty neat.
I guess kids don't use Blu-rays either, but yeah, that is pretty neat.
Yeah, so you don't know which one you're going to get. That's kind of fun.
That is fun. It's a good idea. So I guess for the plot, it's a group of people going to the Hill House mansion, and they have an awkward dinner. They're all a bunch of comedians.
They're all comedic for the most part. They're all comedic actors.
For the most part,
actually, no. Wait, I think they all are comedic actors.
And leaving,
and then leaving.
Tim Curry, the butler, and so they learn that Mr. Body invited them there, and they don't understand. They all slowly figure out that they have connections. I like the exposition in the dinner scene, how they slowly kind of realize that everybody works in DC or lives there, and then it's revealed that they're all being blackmailed by Mr. Body. So Leaving shows up, and so he's like, "Yeah, that's right. I'm blackmailing all of you. Also, I brought a weird variety of murder weapons."
Yeah.
What is the point of that?
I don't know.
Why would Mr. Body do this? He basically says, what's Tim Curry's character's name?
Wadsworth,
thank you. He's basically like, look, yes, I'm all blackmailing you, but there's no reason this can't just continue. If you expose me, you expose the things I'm blackmailing you for.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn off the lights, I'm going to give you all weapons, and whoever kills Wadsworth does that. And then we all leave. But by giving them individual weapons, he kind of it's not anonymous then, right?
No,
he shuts off the light.
It's a bad gamble. He's banking that everyone is gonna, because obviously, why wouldn't they just kill him? Which is what happens.
Yeah.
But they still have he's kind of setting Wadsworth up as a snitch. Which in two of the 3 endings, he's an undercover FBI agent. So
yes,
that's accurate. So that's well, if we kill him, nobody's gonna tell on us. But so I think he's banking on them all being crooked as shit, which they are. But it's still a bad gamble, because it's well, I'm just going to shoot you since you're the one blackmailing me.
Right. Also, half the weapons he gives them are they're not fun weapons. The candlestick, lead pipe, and wrench.
Yeah, that's a task, killing someone with that. That's exercise. It's exercise. Yeah. And then also it takes a second.
At least those all leave the same wound, so I'd be more inclined to use it. But it'd take a second. It's leaving. That's hard. So yeah, basically he shuts off the lights. There's a scream. There's a gunshot. Leaving. Mr. Body is dead. And there's no he wasn't shot. He wasn't stabbed. They can't figure out how he died. It is revealed that he played dead. He realized his gambit wasn't gonna work,
or the bullet grazed him or something. Right?
Yeah, and so he just played dead. And so then they find out he was killed later. Then the cook gets killed. The maid. Joan of Arc from Bill and Ted gets killed.
Yeah, that's the singing telegram. Yeah. And a random guy who breaks down gets killed, and then a random cop gets killed.
Yeah. And what we learn slowly is that everybody has a connection to all of these people who are getting killed. It's a murder mystery.
Yeah.
It's mostly just doing bullshit fun. They draw matchsticks to search the house together. A lot of wordplay. A lot of routines.
It's very farcical.
Yeah. Madeline Kahn is, in my opinion, the MVP of this movie. I mean, they're all really good.
I go back and forth between her and Eileen Brennan as Miss Peacock. She fucking cracks me up every time. Like, I always forget that she's low-key really fucking funny in this movie.
Yeah. You know who isn't utilized in this?
Christopher Lloyd.
That is correct.
Yeah.
He's like, he's sinister.
He's relatively straight, yeah, and he's also like one of the prime suspects from the beginning.
Yeah,
he just seems the most like he's kind of sleazy. Like this is closer.
He's horny, Christopher Lloyd. I don't like it.
It's horned up Christopher Lloyd. It's closer to like Judge Doom than Back to the Future. This came out the same year as Back to the Future.
It's weird to think about.
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, he's the straight man, yeah, but his whole deal is he like had sex. He was a psychiatrist who had sex with his clients, and it's like, oof, gross. He's just gross and then he's just so horny throughout.
Right, he's like and really sleazing on Miss Scarlet, yeah.
Yeah, and like eyeballing, and it's just like they're all the guys are a little horny, but like
yeah,
he's like a menace.
He really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of two roles that Christopher Lloyd plays. He either plays Doc Brown or he plays Judge Doom, and this is kind of closer to Judge Doom.
Whose house is it in this movie? Who owns this house?
I don't know. I thought it was Mr. Body's.
It doesn't seem like a house Leaving would be in. But then again, it depends on the end. Yeah, I guess it would be Mr. Body's.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like Leaving didn't really know the house. Like, it felt like it was an Airbnb, but whatever. I was just curious. I assume you're right. It's probably Mr. Body's.
Or something. Like, I think Wadsworth does say that Mr. Body is not his employer, so it's not his house. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think they ever really reveal whose house it is, except in the third ending.
Right.
When they reveal that Wadsworth is Mr. Body.
Right. In that version, yes.
In that version, be.
But in the other versions, it feels like it's not anybody's house. I don't know.
Well, he clearly knows it. Like, because all the servants know him. He knows to bring bones for the dogs. He knows where everything is.
Whose dogs are those? Because no one seems comfortable with the
house.
Dogs.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just attacked. It's his employer who is never identified.
Yeah. They're bad guard dogs, by the way, because if you can just give them meat, like that's the first thing you train a guard dog not to do, right? Is to accept meat.
I mean, the first thing I would train a guard dog to do would be like Krav Maga.
Yeah.
So it can do like cool, like it can like disarm burglars and do like cool kicks and shit.
Right. The idea of a guard dog, and I know not everybody does this way, but I would treat a guard dog really well, give them all the meat they want, so they like I don't want a guard dog who can be bought, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want a guard dog where you give them meat, they're like, I'm sorry.
You want a guard dog who's independently wealthy.
Exactly.
So that they're immune to bribery.
So, yeah, they're doing it for the fun of guard dogging.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise, yeah, you give them meat and they're like, yeah, I'm now on your side. And it's like, wow, Jesus Christ, guard dog. You know, that was easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's bad.
You're not bringing a lot to the table, guard dog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the movie. Did we explain the movie?
I think we got it. Yeah, we got there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a little tricky doing an episode about a comedy that we enjoy because it's like, oh, remember this scene? Oh, that was funny. But there is stuff to talk about. It's interesting. It's always struck me as interesting that the movie specifically takes place in a time period. As I don't necessarily. It takes place in the 50s, and I guess that's around the time that the original board game came out.
Probably even earlier.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. It says 1943, and it was published first in 1949, so it's pretty close. But yeah, I don't know. I like the production design of this movie, and it's interesting to me that they chose such a specific time period for it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that time period is the official time period of murder mysteries. Like, one of the things about Knives Out, which wasn't really a murder mystery, but like for whatever people's opinions of it, it was always weird to me that it takes place now. Like, whenever a character gets in a modern car, it was like, whoa, weird. Because you have like that Daniel Craig character, and it's like you belong decades in the past. And so I just think of this time as this is when murder mysteries happened, because it's when you can say, oh, the telephones are down and no one has a cell phone. There's police work isn't that good. There's no like DNA evidence.
I mean, police work was up through like the 80s. we still couldn't catch. If you went to a different
police still don't catch things, but
like if you went to a different town, like they wouldn't catch you.
Yeah, that's where it got serial killers.
That's why serial killers had such a good run in the 70s and 80s.
A lot of hitchhikers and a lot of shrugging cops.
You go to a neighboring county, they just don't speak to each other.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so that I guess that's why I think of this as like prime murder mystery. It makes sense.
Yeah,
it fits the outfits too. They explain their names as aliases, which I like because that's not in the game. That's supposed to be their actual fucking names in the game.
Well,
it's come on, game.
It's like matching the color of their pawns, Dave. Come on.
They grounded it, though, Tom. They grounded it.
That's true. They made it real. This is the Batman Begins of Clue adaptations.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
It's funny. We're talking about we briefly talked about the comedy. Maybe it's because I've seen this so much. I never really found this movie funny, and what I mean is that obviously it's a comedy. But I've never laughed so much as I would say, like, oh, that's a clever line.
Yeah,
that's a fun line. And the only thing is, of course, the flames thing from Madeline Kahn. That's the only part that like absolutely cracks me up.
She's got several great deliveries, but like there's a couple of stuff that got me on this watch, and I think part of it is just I hadn't seen it in a while. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's one of those comedies that's like a steady simmer, rather than like peaks of like laugh out loud hilarity. It's just every performer is killing it, and they're all just like really deftly carrying this tone, this playful, light, zany. Like I said, it's almost farcical tone throughout the film. So yeah, it's more stuff where you're like, oh, that was cool. Like, oh, like I like how they brought that bit back, or they're keeping this bit going, or it's more like appreciating the craft of comedy than like laugh out loud moments. Exactly. Yes.
Where it's a bunch of clever wordplay that's like, all right, this is fun. Oh, the other thing that always makes me laugh, no matter how many fucking times I see it, is Tim Curry's bit with Michael McKean when he's explaining the physical comedy. Yeah, where he's just flinging him around. That never fails to make me laugh.
This time around, what got me was Christopher Lloyd sipping soup from his spoon very loudly, and Madeline Kahn giving him a weird look, and then also doing it, but in a much stranger way. Like she makes a much stranger noise when she's eating her soup. It's a stupid joke, but it really nailed me this time.
Right. It's all, that's what it is it's not the dialogue. A lot of it's delivery. When
it's all performance based pretty much.
Yeah,
well, not all of it, but yeah.
Another thing that made me laugh is when they do the fake fuck party with the corpses to the song Life Would Be a Dream, which made me laugh, like that there's a fuck party to that song. But it was the delivery when the cop says, "This is America," and Tim Curry goes, "I see." That really got me. And I don't, it's all completely fucking just in the moment. It's the physical stuff. I like when Mr. Body is gonna fight, and so he fights like a Three Stooges.
It's Three Stooges gag, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, the fuck?
Yeah, this movie did not do well when it came out.
That does surprise me.
People were not vibing with this movie. It did not do well critically or financially. Like it bombed, and critics did not like it.
I think this is one of those movies that our generation remembers very fondly. And it's all from the same place. We all watched it on TV as kids, right?
Or on VHS. But yeah, we all watched it as kids is the point.
Yes. And so there's a question of like, is this movie any good?
I think so.
I think what makes this movie for me is how incredibly unique it feels.
Yes.
As a movie. Nothing matters, right? Nothing in the plot matters.
It's all silliness, and it's got an all-time incredible ensemble cast.
Yeah. There's no protagonist. There's no one you're really rooting for.
Nope. Wadsworth is the closest thing to a protagonist because he's kind of like the DM. So he will move the action along when it needs to be moved.
Fuck, that's such a good way of thinking of this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a RPG. In fact, now I want to play
It's like how to host a murder mystery, yeah.
Yeah, now I want to play like a Clue RPG. I would say Mr. Green because he is the least... Like, I think they do this on purpose where he's being blackmailed because he's gay.
Yeah.
And this was made in the 80s, and it's the whole point is, well, that's not bad. You know, like, I think even for the 80s, that was the point where they do it.
Right.
They do a couple dated gay jokes. But I think that's why they are able to make him like, he feels like the closest to a character that I like.
He's the
because
least,
he hasn't done anything wrong.
Right. He's not sleazy like the others are. And I think he's, if I remember, it's easy to lose track, but I don't think in any of the endings he doesn't kill anyone, I don't think.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think he's the most sympathetic. He's like actually innocent.
Yeah. Like in the first two endings, that's true. Miss Scarlet's the murderer in the first one. Miss Peacock's the murderer in the second one, and then everybody but Mr. Green kills somebody in the third ending.
Right. Wait, is there one where they're blackmailed because they hang out with socialists? Who's that?
I think that's Miss Peacock, isn't it?
Okay, but she's done other bad. She's bad in other ways.
She takes bribes. She takes bribes from lobbyists, and I think in her ending, the reveal is that she's taking money from, like, she and her husband, who is a senator, are taking money from foreign governments, like Russia, I think.
Right. It was just they do the
China.
funny thing where they say socialists, and everybody acts like it's the worst thing in the world, which is cute.
Gasp. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, Professor Plum is the creepiest. He's not the most evil. Mrs. White killed her husband.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Mrs. Peacock, or no, Miss Scarlet is the one who runs the bordello.
She runs the bordello, yeah.
Yeah.
But
hers isn't that bad either.
It's in the scene where, they're the most sympathetic, I think, excluding the ending where Miss Scarlet's the murderer.
Right.
But in the scene where Wadsworth is revealing what everybody's quote unquote crime is, she and Mr. Green are the only ones who are just like, well, I'll just tell you because it's not like I don't care. Like it's
Colonel
not like
Mustard.
embarrassed about this.
Yeah. Colonel Mustard is a war profiteer.
Yeah.
I just like that. Martin Mull is killing
Martin Mull's incredible. He's such a boob.
Well, yeah, I guess that's what I think is really fascinating about this movie and why it sticks, is it's a group of comedians and they basically said you're giving a job in like a color.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure it was written in the script what they are. So I guess it's from more of a writing perspective, but like they fill these characters based on very little and they do it really well, I think. Like Christopher Lloyd, I don't think what he's doing isn't intentional. He's coming off as creepy.
He's
supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like, I think you mentioned earlier, it's like an improv theater where it's everybody has one clear characteristic and they're all playing the shit out of that characteristic.
Right. And they're radiating out little details based on that. Like Colonel Mustard saying, when I lost my mommy and daddy.
Mommy and daddy.
Fantastic line.
It like holds on Tim Curry's face after he says that.
Because he's playing this colonel, this war profiteer, who's like, still kind of a kid, I guess, in his mind. Like it feels like he came from a rich family. Like it feels like he never really got his hands dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And he just got promoted, and like you get that impression off of him, and it works really well.
Yeah.
And they all have that, and it's delightful. And then there's leaving.
Who's just playing a scumbag. He's just playing a scumbag. He's playing, yeah. Like I said, with gleaming white spats. They're like ivory. They're glorious shoes.
Yeah. Also, worst cop ever. The guy who goes there and he's like so unsuspecting, even though they've clearly done something.
Yeah, and then he's like,
everybody.
Go ahead.
There's a lot, like him, the motorist. They're all very like naive. The people who show up.
Yeah, I mean, except for the singing telegram lady, who at that point, you know, we've seen Yvette get murdered, we've seen the cook get murdered, we've seen the two people who just show up, like the motorist and the cop, and they all have these kind of like drawn out scenes where they're like, I think something's going on, or it's like a little like mysterious around it, and then by the time the singing telegram girl shows up, she just gets shot immediately, and it's kind of a gag.
It is a gag, and the gag throughout the movie, the arc is that they slowly get less shocked about the murders.
Yeah.
Which I like as well. It's a group of people becoming slowly desensitized. It is like, I'm trying to think about like, what is the purpose of this movie? It really does feel like we're just going to make a comedy.
Just jokes,
and it's not going to really mean anything. And I see why it wasn't popular. And I could see why maybe if you're young and you're watching this for the first time, you're like, I don't know what the big deal is, because there really isn't much of a plot to it. It's just who murdered these people. And then the we talk about loving murder mysteries, right?
Mm-hmm.
This does not scratch that itch. Does it for you?
Not really. It's a different kind of.
It's more of a Knives Out situation.
It's not about the mystery. Like, this is like, I'm not watching Clue to sit down and watch like a cool whodunit. Like, that's not, even though it is technically a whodunit, it's not about that. Because as we pointed out, the solution can be one of three different things.
It's oddly similar to Knives Out, in my opinion. A movie that I didn't like. It was fun enough, Knives Out, but it was that thing where I was really wanting that murder mystery itch to be scratched, and it didn't.
Yeah, Knives Out didn't go far enough in either direction for me. It wasn't enough of a murder mystery to scratch that itch, and it wasn't silly enough to scratch that itch. So it just kind of I just kind of didn't like it. Like, Clue goes far in the silliness direction, because that's what its point is.
Right.
It's not trying to be a mystery as much as it's just trying to be a very silly. Like you said, it's like watching a play. Like, it reminds me a little bit of like the Marx Brothers, or like that film Noises Off. If you've ever seen that, where it's all about performance and this neat wordplay, and this ensemble cast. Yeah,
there is a similarity beyond that, which is that Knives Out is a murder mystery that actually is a character piece, right? It's about how the rich, once their money is threatened, they pool together. Mm-hmm. That's the basic idea that happens with the family, is that liberals, conservatives, it doesn't matter if they're rich. It's a class thing. And I would argue this is doing that, where it's a murder mystery, but it actually is also a character piece, where it's all these high up government people that you're seeing are clowns. Not all of them are government people, but you know what I mean. They're all people like who are all part of the same like gross underbelly, and they're all seen as clowns. And the things that they find threatening, like a gay man or a socialist, is like it's being made fun of, right?
Yeah.
So, like, there is, I don't know, there are similarities to me, but, like, the weird thing about Clue is that they never draw any sort of conclusion there. That's just, like, flavoring throughout, and it's mostly just, it's just a murder mystery that actually is just a chance for a bunch of comedians to do bits.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is weird, and I can see why someone wouldn't like that.
I don't know. That really appeals to me. I love that idea. I love taking like how to host a murder mystery and just throwing a bunch of comedians into it. Like, that's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I would watch a million of these just with different ensembles.
I would enjoy like a more improvised version.
I feel like a lot of this movie is probably, well, not a lot of it, but certain
lines. There's too much wordplay for it to be completely.
But certain lines, I think the Flames speech from Madeline Kahn is famously improvised, but there's certain bits where it seems like they were probably improv.
She's
but yeah,
so good.
She's killing it. Yeah. There's something I didn't realize real quick. Jane Weedlin, who plays the singing telegram lady, who also played Joan of Arc, she's the lead singer of the Go-Go's.
Oh shit!
I did not realize
that. What are they doing? Why are they casting all these singers?
Because this was the hip new auteur era of filmmaking, where it was all the, it's like Landis coming in here, and
yeah, that's true.
It's this is like Spielberg and Lucas and Coppola. It's like all that new wave of like we're the new young blood, we're the new kids in town, and so we're gonna like. Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe the youth culture, the punk rock aspect of getting these people into movies like this. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me talking out of my ass. But it seems right. It sounds right.
It sounds right. Yeah, it sounds as right as anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're just talking. We're just making sounds.
Yeah, we're just kind of, I'm doing shapes with my face and words come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your face and tongue.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it really is like as a murder mystery, there's not much here. It's unsatisfying.
No, it's
the plants and payoffs are obvious. Everything is, stuff like the Jehovah's Witness, and it's like, well, yeah, that's a cop.
This is a comedy. First and foremost, it's like 95% a comedy because the only mystery elements are somebody is killed and then the rest of the cast react like cartoon characters to it. Like they have to run to a new location in the house to see that somebody's been killed, and then we get jokes.
Which, by the way,
it's a joke delivery system.
Faithful to the board game. It's an adaptation second. It's a great adaptation. Like it does, to me, simulate playing Clue.
The experience of playing Clue, sure.
Fully experience where it's much like Clue. You're like, well, there isn't that much meat here, I guess, but we played the game. That's really what it is. It's I don't know. Again, it's an institution. It's just been here.
Mm-hmm.
It's been here forever.
It's always been here,
and
for
you
us.
either like it or not. I tweeted, and I didn't expect the response I got. I tweeted that Wes Anderson should remake Clue, and I feel gross saying that. But you see it, right?
Oh yeah, it's the same kind of. He's not as he is pretty silly. It's not as
get Bill Murray in there.
It's not
Colonel
as madcap, but yeah, I could definitely see.
Well,
I could definitely see Wes Anderson doing a Clue movie and it being really good.
Yeah, that's why I suggested it, because it's simple. It's like Wes Anderson, he always tries to make his movies like really emotional or deep in weird ways. This is nice and simple. Keeps him out of trouble, you know? It would be different enough than the original Clue that we wouldn't have to compare the two, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, because I don't think it would be as madcap, but I think it'd be really like, the casting was, of course, be great.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson would be there, no doubt. Bill Murray would be there.
I think Adrian Brody would be playing Professor Plum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, because Wes Anderson is very silly.
Yeah.
It's just the silliness is more muted than this movie. This movie is very zany.
Right. I just think it'll keep him out of trouble, and I think people would like it, and I don't think it would ruin anything. Like, there's nothing to ruin with Clue. The only way I think you could fuck up a Clue remake or readaptation is by just trying to do this again. I think that, like, for what you said, where you're like, you could watch it a million times with different comedians, you're right. But I do think, like, if you get that wrong, then people would be really bummed out, right? But at the same time, who gives a shit? It's Clue.
Who cares? It's Clue. Like, what?
No.
Like, I heard that they were... This project has since fallen through. I don't know what stage it's at, but, like, for a minute, like, Jason Bateman was making a Clue movie that he was going to direct, and he and Ryan Reynolds were going to be part of the cast. And I was like, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Like, that's fine. Sure. Like, it's, I mean, a different tone probably, but, you know, I don't... Like, I stand by. I would watch 1,000,000 of these movies. I don't care. What
board game should they do next?
I don't know. I mean, like, they're doing a lot. Like, a Monopoly is going to happen.
They shouldn't do Monopoly.
Lord help me, I think even Connect 4 might happen.
Guess Who? Are they going to do a Guess Who?
Guess Who? You could maybe get something out of Guess Who.
That would be like a murder mystery or something. What's the plot of Guess Who?
You're just trying to guess who somebody else is? It's like trying to guess who's standing on the other side of the door, so it could be like a terrifying... Like, it could be like Wait Until Dark.
A horror movie.
Yeah.
Candyland seems easy enough.
I'm pretty sure. I think that's happening.
Yeah. Pictionary? Probably not.
No. Mousetrap? I think that's happening.
Yeah, you just do animated mouse and traps.
Yeah, animated meese.
Yeah, that's easy enough. Sorry? I don't know if there's a plot there. Life? That seems too broad.
Yeah, plus we already got that movie with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence.
That's true. That was the adaptation, yeah.
It was the official adaptation of Life.
Chutes and Ladders.
Uh-huh. Yeah, do that shit.
Mall Madness. I mean, Mall Madness would just be them going to sales, right?
Yeah.
Have you played Mall Madness lately?
Not lately, no. It's been a bit. I need to crack my copy back open.
Mm-hmm. What's the point is that you just have to shop and be the best shopper, right?
I think
it's
so.
Like, I think you have to like get all the things before anybody else.
The coolest thing was it had like a couple of official brands and like a little credit card thing that you could like put it so like that was the coolest thing about it.
Okay, so you could do where it's like a movie about a shopping spree, like a competitive shopping spree, and it's a bunch of people, and it's like a comedy. You just do a comedy where they're in a mall and they have to shop.
I think both like Mall Madness and like Mystery Date, or like the newest version of Mystery Date or whatever, the one that had Chris Evans in it.
Right.
I think both of those games are the vibe of those games are captured pretty well by Clueless.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like we already have that adaptation.
Yeah. What about Jenga? I kind of want like a Lord of the Rings, like it's a big tower.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know. That's all I got for Jenga.
Sure. Passport.
Remember
Passport? Anything?
No, I don't.
Maybe that was just me.
Uno? Could we do Uno?
You can do whatever you want, man. We could make an Uno movie.
Holy shit, sorry, I'm looking at board games.
I don't know what it would be. We can make it.
I just found one called Bigfoot, the giant snow monster game. And I don't know why I'm not playing this now.
Why aren't we playing? We should be Fireball Island right there, man.
Oh, yeah, Fireball Island.
Fireball Island would fucking rule. That's probably going to happen.
Yeah, have they brought that back? Can I have Fireball?
Yes, you can have Fireball Island. They sell it. It's expensive, but they make it.
Is it the original?
No, it's like a remastered version. It has like cool new designs and like new aspects and shit.
I want my nostalgia. What's the point otherwise?
You could get that. It's still like a big foam board that's a 3D board and all the mountains and shit. That was awesome.
I never had it. My neighbor had it.
Oh.
I coveted it. I coveted his Fireball Island, so I deserve it.
Yeah, you did. You deserve it. We had one. We also had Tornado Rex, which was similar.
Ooh, God, yeah.
Yeah, they used to make some pretty sweet board games. Shark Attack fucked me right up.
Yeah.
13
you can get
Dead
Fireball
End Drive.
Island for $600 on Amazon.
Well, that's not the one you want.
Christ. It's the original, that's why.
Yeah, I think you got to get the new one if you want to get anything.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Fireball Island, the new one.
It's
for just
pretty
$40.
sweet. It's pretty sweet, Dave. Like, give it a chance.
It does look like the same one.
Look at it.
Okay.
You get like a little Indiana Jones add-on. You can get like a little pirate ship add-on. Listen, we're just talking about board games now.
Yeah, well, we already talked about Clue, so I figured why not talk about board games?
That's fair. That is fair and true.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I don't have anything else to say. Yeah. I don't know. It rules. It's a movie that's I don't know, just really, really important to me. I don't know. I
feel like some of our friends don't like this movie.
That might be true. I could see not liking this movie. I could. Like, if you're not into its vibe, because this movie is like 90% vibe.
Right.
It's like we pointed out, there's not really too many like laugh out loud moments. It's just like a steady simmer of jokes. And it either works on you or it doesn't. So it's like you said, Wes Anderson should remake this. So much in the same way, like either Wes Anderson works on you or he doesn't. I feel like this movie probably falls within that category. Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, the weird thing in my head is that I've never had time to like it. Does that make sense? It's just always been here. And so, like, yeah, of course I like it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't constantly watch it. Mm-hmm. You know? So, like, clearly I like this, but I never really thought about why I like it. It's just, again, it's like Back to the Future. It's like Terminator. It's like, no, Jurassic Park's different because I remember seeing that movie and being like, oh, this is awesome. But like Ghostbusters, where it's like, yeah, this is just a thing that's always been here. Mm-hmm. It's like one of my parents, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I don't think about liking my parents. It's just like, yeah, it's just always there. It's Clue. It's Clue. All right. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
I think we've done it. I think we've accomplished our task.
Yeah. Hey, Vincent, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks you so much.
Vincent. Any excuse to watch this movie again.
Yeah, absolutely. Hard agree. So thank you very much. This was through our Patreon. If you're curious, you can go to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. For just $5 a month, you get access to all our podcasts. That's there. Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys. We watch movies every Friday night for a little more. There's a bunch of stuff on there. So yeah, go look.
Yeah, go check that out.
Yeah.
You goofs.
Goofs.
Yeah, you big old goofs. We also have a store. Head over to gamefulunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of things. So check that out.
Check it out.
Yeah! And perhaps host your own delightful murder mystery.
Yeah, invite Lee Ving.
He's got to be down, right? Like, he's not doing much right now.
I think he's still in stuff every now and then. Like, if I made a movie, I'd stick Lee Ving in it. Why not?
Yeah, sure. Fuck that.
I don't know if I'd want to hang out with him, but I'd put him in there. And he'd be like, "Thanks for putting me in your film." And I'd be like, "Don't touch me. Get away from me, Lee Ving."
You're welcome, but stand over there, Lee Ving.